You are now plugged into Hooked on Science with Bruce and Tony Khan.
And we're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another fantastic episode of Hooked on Sonics. I am one of your two hosts, Bruce, and over there is the Tone Capone, and we've got some throwback albums for everyone today. This week we've got Uriah Heep's "The Magician's Birthday," and then Nazareth's "Hair of the Dog" album. Then yeah, so that's going to be some exciting stuff. Obviously, it's a little bit of music news, a little bit of drink reviews, and whatever the hell else flies out of our mouth. Before we get into any of that, we just got to know one thing. The crowd wants to know, Tone, how are you?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am great, man. Had a wonderful weekend with Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Sorry it's a little late. The show shot a few days later. Anyways, had a great Mother's Day. We went out to dinner with Kate's parents and my mom, and she had come into town for the weekend. We ended up taking in a little bit of an Frankie Valley tribute thing from Nick Cosgrove, who was one of the longer running guys for the Jersey Boys on Broadway that toured the US and stuff and whatnot. I guess he did the Chicago shows, he did the New York Broadway shows, and he may have done some of the touring with them and stuff too. But the guy's got an amazing voice, and he just does a really great set every Mother's Day out there at the Valleydale Ballroom right here in Columbus, Ohio. And you get about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes worth of material from songs like Grease and um, Big Girls Don't Cry. Just a lot of great, great classic tunes. And if you know anything about me, I really love in general when it comes to music. I've always loved stuff from the 50s, 60s, 70s, on and just some of the big bopper style stuff, Richie Valens style stuff. Who's the other guy? Buddy Holly, big fan of that guy too. You know what I'm saying? Just that older era of music. And it's just a time capsule for me. And if I get the chance to do this every Mother's Day with my mom and Kate's mom, it would be a blessing. With that being said, that was a lot of fun. Next day, I attempted to do some smoked pork belly burn ends in the smoker, and
Oh, honey, hush.
boy, I'll tell you what, for a first time try, I have never ever liked pork belly ever any way that I've ever had it before. Not a fan, didn't see the fascination with it, but I had to know. So I had to do my own thing with it. And I did my own thing with it, and I'm glad I did because I'll tell you what, pork belly burn ends are a thing, and I can't eat them that often, but boy, that is make your tongue reach out and smack you in the face and go, "What's up, boy? How you doing?" Good stuff.
Mm.
I love it, man. Other than that, looking forward to going to the High on Fire show this Thursday. Band's coming over tomorrow for a little cookout since Dylan won't be rolling out with us. We're going to do some street tacos on the Blackstone and hang out, have a few beers, and just kind of talk music and bullshit. And then we're going to go to High on Fire on Thursday. Friday, I'll be picking up the grandson, hanging out with him for the weekend here while I handle work and shit and whatnot. But that's about it, man. What you getting into?
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
Nope.
You ain't even going to listen to albums, sit and spin some albums or anything?
Well, this past week, I've listened to a lot of different stuff. So,
Let's hear it.
well, I'm going to tell you. For the first time, obviously, I'm a huge Kiss fan. But surprisingly, I have never heard Gene Simmons's last solo album from like the mid 2000s. It's called Asshole.
Yeah.
I've never heard it all the way in its entirety. So, and I finally listened to it for the first time today. I was like, it's catchy. It's like alt rock, a lot of alt rock stuff. Some some harder stuff, but it was just different. I was like, okay, so definitely hear the Beatles influence in it. And that was pretty cool. So, um, yeah, I don't worry, I won't give that to you as a review, but I really liked it. It's unique. I'm not saying it's a great album. I'm saying it's unique.
I listened to it once. I listened to it once.
So anyway, listen to that, and then there was a recent new release that I'm going to give you for your album review. I've heard a couple of singles off of it a couple months ago that I was super stoked about, and I was glad that the album finally dropped a couple weeks ago. So you're going to get that later, and we'll talk about that. And then here's some finds. Okay, I'm an old timey music guy. You probably do not know of the man called Uncle Dave Macon. He is a he is one of the godfathers of country music. Um, Back in the 30s and 40s, this is when he came out, and super influential um, to everyone from the Carter family on up. Anyway, found this for free. This is an old 78. Um, it is not your typical album. Now I just got to find a album that, or a record player that plays 78s. Next up, I found this bad boy over at our friends at Lost and Found Records. It's David Lee. It's the single of
The
David Lee
single for
Roth.
California Girls, yeah.
Yep. And what's interesting, there wasn't a B side. It's just California Girls twice.
On both sides.
Yeah, on both
Why
sides.
why would he not stick just a Gigolo on the other side?
I don't know. Well, just Gigolo was its own single.
Was okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, pretty cool find there. Now, I kind of told you about this off the air. Super stoked about this. So I have an original pressing, and hold on, an original pressing of Kiss
The
Me.
worst album Kiss ever made.
Nah, that's
Yes.
good. So here's what's really cool about this.
Name a worse album.
That Kiss did?
Yeah.
Sonic Boom. You want to know the other one? Animalize. You want to know another one? Those are
There's
probably
no
it.
way that beats out Animalize.
Oh, for me? Yes.
You're out of your mind, dude.
For
Mark
me.
St. John
For
did
me.
great on that album.
It's fuck it. Anyway, what's cool about this, the sleeve is a plastic see-through sleeve. The original pressing. Now, something funny that I realized about this. The song sequence is completely different than what the band wanted, because the record company wanted to put focus on two singles off this: a World Without Heroes and oh shit, I forget the other one off the top of my head. Sorry. Anyway, so they screwed up the whole theme of this album just because they wanted a single. Here's the other cool thing. Here's the Japanese version of The Elder. And it is missing. Japanese version did not come with Escape from the Island. So it's missing a whole different song, but you get this cool sleeve. So I picked up that original pressing of Music from the Elder, and super rare, and I was super stoked.
What'd you pay for that?
I got it for a really good deal.
What's the deal?
I got it for 30.
It's not bad if it's as rare and as important as you say it is.
On Discogs, it goes typically, like if it's in bad shape, about 30. If it goes for great shape, $350.
And what
It's in
shape
pretty
is
damn
it?
good shape. It's in
Good.
pretty damn good shape. So yeah, that's it.
Good
Stoked.
job, man. Good job. Well, I have been listening to, what have I been listening to this week? Listen to the Heavy Temple Garden of Heathens album, the new one. Listen to the new High on Fire album, of course. Man, still listen to that Bong Ripper album, the new one, Empty, man. It's so freaking good. Was listening to and watched the video on YouTube of a 1978 concert of Meatloaf. And it was something else. I ended up watching that on Mother's Day.
Now, was Bob Kulick playing with him?
This was 78, dude. I don't know. It was a very big to do. It was about an hour and 45 minutes long. It was a pretty big to do. It's out there on YouTube. It was pretty good though.
Yeah,
then,
do me a favor, send me a link to that because at one point Bob and Bruce Kulick were playing with him on the road.
Okay. I'll have to send it over to you.
Yeah.
And then what else was I listening to this week? Oh, that Chris Stapleton new release, Higher. Chris Stapleton's Higher CD. Was checking that out again this week. That's a really good disc, man. If you don't get the chance, man, that's God, man, that dude can sing, man. When I think about some of the greatest voices I've ever heard, dude, Chris Stapleton is definitely one of them. That dude's got one of the best fucking voices there is, hands down.
Yeah, he's not too shabby.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we've listened to some shit.
Yeah, we've listened. Hey, real quick before I get to the drink, I got to tell everyone the poll results from last week. So,
oh, the ones you accidentally tore down
part of it
because you were pissed we were winning.
Well, that's
you've got no proof of that. You've got no proof of that because you tore it down. I have sat and considered this, and I said, well, why would he tear that down? He must be upset because I was right.
Sure. So what you can do, everyone, to fact check me, yes, I accidentally scrubbed out the bottom part of the poll because I fat fingered it. So the question was is AI good or bad for music? And it was like 78% said no, AI is bad, or said that AI was bad for music. And then, there's a couple of votes over there for that guy. Anyway, so we had a good turnout for it. That was really cool. A lot of interaction on it, and I wiped it all out. So
yeah,
my apologies.
So we don't know the real results. You just made up some results.
I'm just saying, we had like 29 votes.
I just want you all to know that this is fake news. This is fake news.
Is CNN around?
I'm just kidding.
I know it.
I trust you. Yeah, I trust you. I don't know, man. I think in certain situations it does belong. I do not think they need to be building songs from scratch and releasing them as their own material when they're obviously capable to do so. But I don't know, man. I see it a little differently.
Yep, absolutely. Well, moving on to our drink specials. Tonight I am having some lovely Crown Royal vanilla.
Too sweet.
With Coca-Cola.
Good combination. Good combination. Diet or regular?
Regular.
Yeah, diet sometimes just isn't really good when it comes to pop.
Not for mixing drinks.
Popping mixing drinks. I agree.
Yeah.
But I do it anyways because of being diabetic and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you going to give the Crown Vanilla?
There's nothing wrong with it at all. Solid 5. Nothing wrong with it.
You shoot it straight?
Yeah. I shoot the apple straight more. But, I mean, both of them are easily digestible.
Too sweet. And I have a lot of room to talk considering I shouldn't even be having what I'm going to have this evening.
What are you going to have this evening?
So somebody left this here for my niece. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who left it here. I know they're probably cool. I think it was my buddy Gil. And this thing's been sitting in my fridge for quite some time.
Oh.
And I'm in the process of cleaning all the trash out of my fridge. And And I just happened to see this in there and I said, you know what? Fuck it. I need something to drink for the show. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Mike's
Classic.
Hard Lemonade.
Classic Mike's Hard Lemonade. I've had these before. I don't drink them anymore because I get horrible headaches drinking this shit by the few. Okay. Not my favorite thing to drink. I love lemonade. Let's not get that twisted. Everybody knows Tony loves lemonade. And I'll sip your lemonade too.
I bet you will.
Smells like Mike's Hard Lemonade. Well, that's what it says on the thing. It's a little lemony on the nose.
Yeah.
Smells like pine sol and vodka.
Dear God. That's a ringing endorsement.
God bless America. Taste the diabetes.
If you start losing vision or anything, you just please let us know.
I will let you know. I will let you know. Man, I'm going to be honest with you. I like these things. I liked them when I first had them. I really do like these things. However, because of the headache factor, because of the sugar factor, I mean, if they made these in like a sugar free or some shit like that, I would consider definitely picking them up. Especially if they could taste anything like this. I do like the taste of this. Do I think it's a perfect drink? Just I'm going to ding it for the headache factor. I want to ding it because I don't think they've ever made a zero sugar type deal.
Right.
And that's kind of a shitty thing because they could tap into a whole nother market of people who enjoy shit like this. And the headache factor, man, I'm going to give it I'll give it 4.
Okay.
I like them. I would like them. Like I would rate it higher, definitely higher. It would probably get a 4.5 if there wasn't a headache factor. If I could drink a 6-pack of,
Right.
you know, these ring in at what 5%.
Yeah, they're not very much.
They're not very much, but there's something in it that just makes my fucking head ring horribly the next day. But cheers.
All right, salute, my friend.
All right, brother. What we got going on?
Well, celebrating some birthdays and death days and release days.
And we got some news.
We got some news. Let's see. Do you want to start or you want me to?
Go ahead.
All right. Let's see. Today, we're recording May 14th. BB King passed away today in 2015. Jack Bruce, the bassist and one of the singers from Cream, he was born today in 1943. Frank, the chairman of the board himself, Sinatra, passed away today in 1998. Man, that seems like forever ago.
God, he would have passed away either 2 years or on the year I left the Claremont. And the Claremont was where I fell in love with Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Yep. David Byrne from the Talking Heads.
Birthday?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man. Hell yeah.
1952.
52.
And he's from Scotland.
Yeah.
You know who else is from Scotland that we're going to talk about later?
Nazareth.
That is correct.
I was going to bring that up. Come on, calm down.
Come on now. And happy birthday to Bobby Darin. Born in 1936.
Wow.
Some cool albums that were released today. Neil Young's Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere. That's an underrated album. I really enjoy it. Ice-T's OG Original Gangster, released today in 1991. Such a good album. And then, let's see, Van Morrison's Down the Road was released in 2002. Really great album, especially if you like Van Morrison.
Yes.
And
he did Gloria.
Yep. Let's see, Black Keys Delta Cream Ohio's own Black Keys. Was released in 2021. And that's about it.
I think we saw some tours going on out there. Godsmack, I think. Who all did we see there, man? Give me 1 second here, because I did know I saw some information regarding some tours and shit. And this is from our good friends over at Blabbermouth.
Also, while I'm thinking about it, while you're looking at that, Green Jello is coming up to Ohio for a couple dates.
I did see that. So if you get the chance, they will be in Columbus. I didn't see that date, but
Oh, is it going to be in Columbus?
There is a Columbus, Ohio show.
Nice.
I believe they are playing. God, where the fuck are they playing, man? I can't think of offhand.
I don't know off the top of my head. But that's awesome. You got to go see them.
I'd have to look into it. I'd have to look into it. It's on the list. Mike Tramp's White Lion announced a summer fall 2024 tour. Godsmack announces a September October tour. Rise Against announces a fall North American tour. Mark Tremonti announces his solo tour 2024 dates. Highly Suspect announced a new album. Five Finger Death Punch will probably release a new studio album in 2025. Marty Friedman to release Dreaming Japanese autobiography in December. Kerry King, obviously out doing shows. Rachel Boland says fans are losing their minds over Skid Row's upcoming shows with Lizzie Hale. I don't know how to feel about that. I've heard it. I'm not a fan.
Interesting.
I just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. David Gilmour announced his first U.S. concerts in 8 years. That was a big one I wanted to throw out there. That would be something. Rammstein's going to announce some European dates and a stadium tour in Prague. Udo from Accept is doing a tour. The Winery Dogs will go back into hibernation for foreseeable future after Mike Portnoy's return to Dream Theater.
I did see that.
So let's talk about that.
Yep.
How are we going to go into hibernation when it's already been announced that fucking Billy Sheehan said he's going to retire? And then so all of a sudden Mr. Big's going to put out a new album. They're just getting off a tour. Mr. Big's going to put out a new album. Winery Dogs announce we're in hibernation. Don't give false hope. What's happening here, man? Because the man said he's retiring.
Yeah, and then Richie. Here's the other thing too. Richie Kotzen is getting ready to release a new album too.
Yeah, he's going to release another solo album. So it's not like, okay, what is going on, guys? These mixed signals, because there are Winery Dogs fans. I'm one of them. My wife is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to hear another album. We understand that Portnoy's out doing what he's doing, but we're under the impression there's going to be no more Winery Dog shit because Sheehan said he's retiring.
Yeah.
But then we hear Mr. Big's doing another album. So I'm like, guys, come on, man. So now I need to give Billy Sheehan a call and go, hey, dog.
Give him a call.
I could call Gidget.
He knows who the fuck we are.
I could reach out to Gidget.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Gidget is?
No.
So did I ever tell you this story?
No.
Do you have time for a real quick one? I'll condense it as much as I can.
We're here all night.
Okay. I am out at a show to go see the Winery Dogs at the King of Clubs. I run into a young lady by association with my wife outside. My wife sees her standing off to the side. Tom's talking about he needs a girlfriend. Kate thinks she's going to play matchmaker, but throughout the conversation, we would learn that this girl is engaged. I will get to who she's engaged to here in a second. Her name is Gidget. I remember this name because you don't hear the name fucking Gidget that often, right? And I was just like, okay, cool, nice, cool. We ask her, hey, how's that going? Get into conversation. She says she's here backstage pass on and all that good shit to meet up with Billy Sheehan because they banter back and forth online every once in a while, and he gave her guest list to the show or whatever, right? Okay, you can buy part of a story, right? You go, okay, I see that's possible. She's got the backstage pass, fine, whatever. The girl proceeds to tell us that she's engaged to John Popper of Blues Traveler.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me that.
And
How's
I'm
that
like,
connected to Billy Sheehan?
she banners with these dudes
Okay.
online or whatever.
Okay.
Anyways, at that point, I'm like, okay, I understand the VIP thing, but you're engaged to John Popper. Come on, man. This is getting a little over the top. You know what I mean? That's just a little unfathomable. So being the internet sleuth that I am, I fucking stalk her on fucking Facebook, and guess who I see her chilling with and hanging out with and doing things with and having a good time with? John fucking Popper. So I don't remember her last name. All I can tell you is the lady's name is Gidget. Her and John Popper seemed to have a relationship from what I saw. She was very nice. And Gidget, if by chance you're ever watching, and you could put Billy Sheehan in touch with us to figure out what the hell is going on with the winery dogs, what's going on with Mr. Big, is he continuing his career? What do we got going on? I will take it on your good word. Hook us up. We need to know.
That's right.
Hooked
And
on
we'll ask.
Sonics.
We'll also ask him about David Lee Roth too.
I don't know. Dude, do you think him and Roth are still in touch?
Mm-hmm.
You think?
Well, I don't think they're best buds, but there was no animosity. There's no animosity between him, Vi, Dave. Greg Bissonette passed away, but yeah.
So
Brett Tuggle.
what you're telling me is Dave had no animosity between all these great players he's had in and out of his solo acts.
Not with
But
those guys.
there was always an issue somewhere with Van Halen.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder.
You know, I'll tell you a quick story that I remember reading and hearing. So the Eat 'em and Smile band actually got back together, and they were going to do a secret show with Dave in LA at a club. And Dave got spooked at the last minute, and he told him he wasn't showing up.
Oh, man.
But it was all planned.
And ready to rock.
Yep.
Why did he turn it down?
Dave being Dave, he got spooked. I think what it was, someone will have to fact check me. I think what the story was, he saw the amount of people that was there and he changed his mind.
Because there was a lot of people or no people?
Mm-hmm. No, a lot of people. Because it was supposed to have been super hush hush.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
That's wild, man.
Whew. All right. Well,
yep.
Along with those stories, that was the freaking news. And we're going to get on to 2 reviews.
Yeah.
Who's up first, Bruce?
You are real quick.
Oh, well, son of a gun.
I dropped my phone.
He dropped his phone. Damn it. He dropped the phone. He's waiting on an important phone call from the IRS. Talk about the back taxes of Hooked on Sonics.
That's right.
No, once again, please remember, if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe. Just a couple bits of heads ups. We are still dealing with capacity issues at Podmatic. So you will see us on YouTube. You will see some of these episodes uploaded later to certain platforms as far as the streaming services go, but we should be available on Spotify and YouTube for your watching and listening pleasure until we figure out what we're going to do with this Podomatic thing. And we may just go down to Spotify and YouTube, just because if the Podomatic thing isn't doing what it needs to be doing as far as getting us out there further to you guys, then maybe we need to think about other options. But with that being said, if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe. Before we get into these reviews, we do want to give you a heads up. Season finale is coming up, episode 70. We will be shooting that on the 10th, I believe, and it will be released on Friday. No.
You're getting
No.
everything fucked
I'm
up.
getting fucked up. So season finale will take place on June 11th.
No.
No, the shooting will happen on Wednesday the 12th. Sorry.
Yes.
Wednesday the 12th of June, and be released on Thursday the 13th. Now, coming back, when we come back off of break for third season, we will be back Friday, September 13th. We will be shooting the show that Tuesday, but we thought since it was the week of Friday the 13th, we'll go ahead and release it on Friday the 13th. Make a big hey-hoo about it. Maybe even bring a special guest on for the begin.
Yes, they are still planning on coming.
Still got plenty of special guests lined up. I mean, we've got things in the pipe for you guys and improvements coming. We're going to, God, dude, I wish I could tell them some of the coolest people we've been able to associate with.
Just remember, folks, we're going to continue to lay this pipe for you guys
all day long.
That's right.
All day long, slinging it. All right, who's up on the review? You or me? Oh, you suck.
Oh, God.
All right, so I had an album that was released in 1975.
Uh-huh.
Its name was Nazareth, Hair of the Dog, and it was good. Good review. Have a good day.
As I.
No, honestly, can't tell you the month. I can't tell you this album was released in 1975, a year before I was born.
April 3rd, 1975.
Nazareth, Hair of the Dog. I am very familiar with this album, and I got to be honest with you, it's been a while since I've sat down and listened to the whole thing in its entirety. But I got to say, just like shaking hands with an old friend, love this album. Always have loved this album. Why I don't listen to it more often is beyond me. So let me go ahead and throw out some of my wording for it. Bluesy, Southern rock jammin'. Now, awfully funny to say this, consider these guys are from Scotland. Right?
My kin.
Yeah. At the end of the day, these guys knew how to write a riff. They knew how to fucking put it down. These guys had all the components working and a hell of a singer. And I'm going to get to that singing thing here towards the end because I do want to talk about some other things I put together. I had written down, but I'm saving those for the end. With that being said, we're going to get to track one, Hair of the Dog, classic, legendary riff and chorus. If you are not aware of this song, what rock have you been hiding under? Truth be told, what rock have you been hiding under? Because this song has been in just about everything. We've seen it in commercials. We've seen it in movies. We have heard this song for a number of years, and this is a legendary tune. With all respect, classic legendary riff and chorus. Hair of the Dog gets an A. Miss Misery. Forgot this track was on here. This is a standout track. I gave this an A plus. Love the riffs, love the lyrics. Something I also really freaking got off on this song, had a Dio feel. Really had a Dio style feel, man. I just really kind of dug that, man. Maybe you get that vibe, maybe you don't. Track 3, this is A plus as well. This track was called Guilty. Super, super bluesy and very deep. This is a thought-provoking song. This was an A plus as well and a standout track as well. Change in Times, track number 4. This is an A plus. Riff and vocals, all the pieces in this song are killing it. This thing is firing on all cylinders. 4 tracks in. 4 tracks in. Bam, we hit track 5. From what I understand, this is a cover. Can't remember who it's cover of right hand. Please apologize for that. But with that being said, it was Beggar's Day / Rose in the Heather. I gave this a B. This is a good jam, just not my favorite on the album. If I had to pick one track that just did not sit as well with me for the other tracks and stuff that was on the album, this was that track. Is it a bad track? No. Is it a skippable track? No. You can listen to this whole album, and I'm going to get to that in its entirety without issue or purpose. It's a good jamming album. 6, Whiskey Drinking Woman, A plus again. Bluesy southern rock feel, man. These guys are just bang 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 bang, firing out a great fucking album, and all rights reservedly so. And then we get to track number 7, Please Don't Judas Me. Once again, A plus standout track. A lot of people looking at the reviews on this thing love this track on this album. They just think it's the underdog on this album. I understand why. It is long though. I am going to say that it's long, but there is insane guitar work on this. The guitar work is insanely good on this. I absolutely love. That's what made this track an A. For it's not that the vocals were bad or anything like that, but the guitar work on this just elevated this thing to just this is such a standout, and I completely understand and respect that. And finally ending with Love Hurts, once again, A plus classic, timeless, timeless, timeless tune. We've heard it in movies, we've seen it in just commercials. It's just that, like, this is probably, and I would not doubt making this statement, the best album that Nazareth ever did.
It
And
was certainly their most popular,
not
their best selling.
only do you have, the two well-known tracks of, Hair of the Dog and Love Hurts, but everything in between. It's those are just the bookends.
Mhm.
Those were just the singles, and they're the bookends of a fucking great album. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't do anything but give this a 9.75. I just can't do anything but give this a 9.75. This is a phenomenal, phenomenal representation of great 70s Southern rock style sound. Great riffage. I want to throw this out there as well. Guys like Kevin DuBrow from Quiet Riot, Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, Mark Storch from Crocus, Tom Kiefer from Cinderella. Vocally, these dudes owe a lot to this dude, because this guy is probably one of the earliest representations of that type of sound vocally that I've ever heard. And this dude made that sound cool.
Yeah.
Now, killer riffs, and the drummer and bass player were constantly in pocket like champs, dude. They held everything together like fucking glue.
Mhm.
Phenomenal album, 9.75. I want to say thank you for giving me a great album.
You're welcome. Well, actually, we need to thank Rhea, my wife, for that.
Thank you, Rhea.
I have never actually
Love you,
listened
woman.
I never actually listened to this album in its entirety. Obviously, I've heard Hair of the Dog and um, Love Hurts. I've heard that a million times.
Right.
But I've never actually listened to the album. She sent me Please Don't Judas Me, and she said this is one of my favorite songs ever. And I listened to it. I was like, whoa, that's really fucking cool. Then she sent me a cover version of it. She's like, this is really good too, but the original's. I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, okay, well, what's on the rest on this album? And here we go. So starts off Hair of the Dog. Um, Obviously, radio staple, memorable riff and chorus, like you were saying. They originally wanted this to be the title of the son of a bitch. They wanted this. They wanted that to be the title of the song and of the record, and they're like,
but the record
no.
label wasn't having it. Yeah.
Right. So I gave it a solid A. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving Hair of the Dog, and Love Hurts a slight ding, just because of where. Just because of where. I've heard them a million
Nobody wants
times.
your review. You gave me the album to review.
We both
We
talk about
don't
it,
need your damn
jackass.
review, sir. Your review is not a matter of a motherfucker.
Just because you dress like to Jesus doesn't mean
Nobody messes with the Jesus man.
I'm gonna killing me.
Market 0.
Hey yo. I'm gonna slightly disagree with you a little bit on Miss Misery. It's a great guitar solo. I felt that the verses were kind of weak, and I actually gave that a B+. It's not a skippable track, but it was not one of my favorites for Miss Misery.
Mm-hmm.
Love Hurts. Originally, that was an Everly Brothers song, but it was really made famous by Graham Parsons and Emmylou Harris, and then obviously they took their spin on it. It's a phenomenal song. It's a timeless song. It's great. Changing Times, fucking A+ for me. Great riff, bluesy rocker. Beggar's Day, it's Driving Delivery, another great solo. And then on my end, Rose and the Heather was actually a separate track. I ended up giving that a B just because it was nice, but it wasn't great or anything like that on its own. So yeah. And then Whiskey Drinking Woman. It's a Joe Walsh type of riff to me. I kept thinking Joe Walsh on that. It's funky blues. I love that line, Whiskey Drinking Woman is making a poor man out of me.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because he played guitar on that.
Really?
No, I'm just fucking with you.
Fucker. And then finally, Please Don't Judas Me. It's a great closer, and it might be my favorite song on the album. I gave it an A+. So, yeah.
Okay.
I was pleasantly surprised to hear this album.
This album's phenomenal. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You go back and you think about certain albums that were along this time frame, and bands I think about that I really love that were kind of like this, and I wouldn't say they're exactly like this, but bands around that era that I love that you don't hear often people talk about, Uriah Heep, Blue Oyster Cult, stuff like that. You're always hearing about Sabbath, you're always hearing about Zeppelin, but you don't hear people often talk about some of these other unsung fucking greats, man, that were, I've seen Blue Oyster Cult a couple times. I love them. One of my favorite fucking old school bands. They had so many fucking great hits. But if it's like anything, if you miss the train, you miss the train. You know what I mean? That's why I'm looking forward to hearing your review of an album that I absolutely loved growing up.
Okay. So let me ask you this before I get into my review. What was your first memory of this album?
So let me preface my answer with a question to you. When you were about somewhere between 13 and 16, where did you acquire most of your music, and in what format was it in?
I acquired most of my music from the radio and like my friends. So like if my friends had a cassette tape, here, listen to this.
So you didn't go out and buy?
No, not until, when I started around 16, I would go out to like Media Play or whatever, Coconuts.
I've been buying albums and CDs and shit since I was probably 10.
Yeah.
And I had a massive collection of cassettes at one point because that was the media. You know what I mean? Everybody had a dual cassette boom box. If you were lucky, you had a CD player, but I had the dual cassette boom box. Anyways, you would go into Walmart, or not Walmart, but Myers on Georgesville Road. and they would always have those $5 cassettes. That's how I amassed a huge collection of Kiss cassettes. All Casablanca record shit, man. Just a massive collection of Kiss fucking cassettes. I acquired fucking Quiet Riot for $5 on cassette. You know, it was just that's what I would do. I would earn my money. I'd take it and I'd go buy me a fucking ton of cassettes. And then eventually CDs would come out and I would buy those. Well, when I went to live with my dad for a little while one summer, and we were doing a lot of fishing and hanging out, playing video games, and we did a lot of playing Tecmo Bowl on Nintendo and shit that year. Um, I would go. There was a gas station. I wasn't so close to Myers, but there was a gas station or a couple gas stations close to the house, and there was a Hearts across the way on Broad, and I would go hit up Hearts, and fucking I would go pick up a cassette. Well, Dad would turn me on to some older stuff, and we would. That's how I would find out at the time the new Rush release, Presto, and I'm a big fan of that album. Some people aren't a big fan of that album, but I'm a big fan of that album because I bought it for like $10 out of a fucking gas station or something one night on a whim, you know. And then the same thing kind of happened with the Magician's Birthday thing. I've ended up picking up for $5 or $10 somewhere. Dad was turning me on to Uriah Heep at the time. He's like, "Yeah, man, you should pick that up. We'll jam that out while we're going fishing." And I just got turned on to the album, man. And if I, before you even go into your review, one of my all-time favorite songs, one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my entire life, is on that album, and it's Rain.
Hmm.
And I absolutely, absolutely love that song. I think the vocals on that are really well. And I think their biggest hit would come off of the album, I think before that, which was Demons and Wizards.
Hmm.
And that would have Easy Living on it, I think.
I believe you're right.
So when I was at McKay's in Chattanooga, I was looking for both albums because both of those albums are very important to me. They're very good albums. And the reason why I handed this album off to you is because it falls more along the lines of the psychedelic side of fucking rock and roll or metal during that 70s era.
Hmm.
And I noticed that when I give you the doom stuff, you seem to appreciate the psychedelic and some of the little heavier, faster driving stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to dump, one of my favorite psychedelic style bands on you. I think a lot of people should know about Uriah Heep, man. There was a lot of good players and stuff going on there, and they're a great fucking band, man.
Yep.
Made some great music, but let's hear your
Uh,
review, brother.
Absolutely. And also, if anyone's interested, they're currently on tour, so check them
Yes.
out.
Yeah. I was thinking about catching that, dude, because I don't know that I'll ever get to see them again.
Yeah. All right. Uriah Heep's The Magician's Birthday was released November 1972. Um, the 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 theme of the album was loosely based off a short story that the keyboardist um, Ken Husky had put together. So he's one of the main contributing writers to this album. So let's see. First off the rip is Sunrise. It's a good opener. What the hell did I write here? The whammy bar effect on it was a little overkill, and it kind of reminded me of the Guitar Hero, a little bit overused, you know. I ended up giving this song a B. It's not a skippable track. It's just not a great track. Before I go too far, I will say it did take me a couple of listens to really get into this album. It took a couple of listens. I would put this, definitely a psychedelic feel to it, but also that prog rock type feel to it too. And I'm not a huge prog rock guy. I don't not like it, but it's not like a ooh, I really dig the
It's not a genre you seek out.
right. So it did take me a few listens to really, really start enjoying this album. So Spider Woman, that was one of the singles that was off this album. Nice slide guitar in it. It's a short song. It's only a little bit, about 2 minutes long. It reminds me of it reminds me of Deep Purple and ZZ Top had a baby. So, and what's funny, Roger Glover from Deep Purple, who produced their previous albums, he actually skipped out on this album. So, yep. So I gave that an A. I really like Spider Woman. Let's see. Next up was Blind Eye. I put in here acoustic shuffle, nice harmonic guitars. Has an America feel, the band America, Horse with No Name.
Yeah.
And then also kind of that same Thin Lizzy Emerald vibe.
Okay.
I really like Blind Eye. I gave that an A. Echoes in the Dark. This one actually kind of took me a little bit longer to really appreciate as well. This one had a Queensryche feel to it, to me. Like I could see Queensryche covering this perfectly. Really nice slide guitar. Very, very easy feel. I really liked it. They're really nice. I gave it an A. To your point, Rain. I gave it an A+. This should have been a single. This really should have been a single. It probably is my favorite track on this album.
Yeah.
It's beautiful piano, beautiful lyrics. It's a heavy theme. Just everything you want in a song. I mean, it just hits home. A+ all day long with Rain.
Yeah. I figured you'd dig that, man.
Yeah. And then next, the second single was Sweet Lorraine. This is my second favorite song on this album. It's funky psych. I love it. It does go on a little bit long. Lot of repeating Sweet Lorraine at the end. Great spooky keyboards. Really dug this song. It did go on just a little bit long for me, but all in all, it didn't kill the song for me. A+. Next up, I had Tales. Put in here, nice guitar. The lyrics are pretty cool. Feels kind of Native American. Like the theme of the song is kind of like the plight of Native Americans. That's kind of what I took from it. I gave it a B+. It's not great. It's not skippable. I like more elements of Tales than what I did of Sunrise. And again, I don't hate Sunrise. I think Tales is a little bit better of a song. So I gave it a B+. And then finally, Magician's Birthday. It's a good riff, but it's not a great song or it's not a great closer. It's good. I mean, I'm not going to shit on it, but, you know, as compared to Rain and Sweet Lorraine and even Spider-Woman, fuck. So, what was funny when I was doing my research on this album, even back then, it got a uneven review. Like, it was just kind of like, there's spots of greatness and then spots like, eh. So typically they had them at like, 6s and 7s and things like that on their thing. But, I'm not going to rank it that low.
I can't rank it that low. I can't rank it at 6 or 7.
No.
That's not for how the work that was on this album. Dude, it should get a fucking 9 on the album cover alone.
Yeah, the album cover is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it.
Don't let me influence your decision. Give it your honest, man.
I don't give a shit what you think. I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Yeah, you're not too far from me. It's a 9 for me.
Yeah,
because I grew up with it.
Right, and see, that's one of the things I love about this show is a lot of these albums that we have. There's an emotional tag to it that it's worth something.
Yeah,
that emotional value to these. Again, like we was talking about, just growing up as a kid and the first time you heard it or when you picked it up, that has meaning to it.
Yeah.
So I would put it 8.5. At one point, I know I had Demons and Wizards, and I was trying to find it on vinyl. I have no idea where it's at.
Phenomenal album.
Yeah.
Dude, I came. So I was in McKay's and I started just kind of looking and I was like, I'm thinking about albums because I told you I'm not going to buy a ton of them, but there are going to be certain albums based on how good the album is, how good looking the album cover is and shit and whatnot. And the Uriah Heep, Demons and Wizards and Magician's Birthday are part of that
Mhm.
idea. And those are albums I'd love to sit and hear. The Cheech and Chong albums that I pick up, they're two of my favorite Cheech and Chong albums. I can remember sitting and listening to the cassettes going, laughing, hoping not to get in trouble. My parents listened to me talk about fucking weed jokes and fucking shit. You know what I mean? Fucking just there's a time, and that time is gone.
Yeah.
You know, these are time capsules to me. And while you might have this huge record collection, I promise you this, my digital collection rivals most.
Oh, sure.
Like my Bandcamp, there's probably 100 purchases there easily, you
Yeah.
know, just because I've started taking into buying from there. You know, my Amazon, my Google, dude, I Google until so Google had a rewards thing where you would fill out little surveys for them here and there on places that you shopped or whatever and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I would build up money, and I would use it in their store to purchase albums. And they eventually cut that off, man. They did away with Google Play Music, and I had to find some other source to start getting music from. So I started picking it up from Amazon or directly from the bands or
Yeah.
directly from Bandcamp. And I think from Bandcamp they do pretty well as far as not having a shit ton of money taken from them or anything. So
Yeah.
it's just, I'd like to get more merchandise, man. I wish they'd make bigger merchandise for guys like me. You know, if they threw out a 4 and 5X out there, man, there'd probably be a lot of happy fucking people out there, and I'm sure this shit would sell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could use a
Yeah.
4X. I wear 4Xs. I don't usually wear a 5X or anything like that, but I wear a 4X just because of my broad size and how thick I am.
Yeah. Pipelines.
Laying that
We're all
pipe in.
we're all about pipelines here on Hooked on Sonics. All right, Tony, what what album you going to give me for next week's phenomenal episode?
So with that being said, we had a conversation and I talked about, made the mention of, and we all kind of have that in the back of our head. Albums we if we were stranded on a desert island, we'd absolutely have to have so we can, you know, get through the day or whatever and whatnot. I'm giving you one of my all-time favorite hip hop albums from one of my all-time favorite hip hop artists. This guy's been around for a long, long time. And when I first caught wind of him, I heard of him off from a band called Boogie Down Productions. And the name of the album was called Edutainment. And the video that got me hooked, it said, man, this dude's rapping about some different shit. This dude's rapping about what's real on the streets. This dude's rapping about what's fucking real in society. And I'm with this motherfucker. And the guy had killer flow even back then. And to this day, he's one of the greatest masters of ceremonies ever, in my opinion. I am giving you KRS-One, Return of the Boom Bap.
Okay. Sweet.
You familiar
right.
with KRS-One?
I know the name. And
You
wasn't he
know the
on In
name.
Living Color?
He
I think
may
he
have
did something
appeared.
on Living
He
Color.
may have appeared as a guest, but he wasn't. I don't think he was a regular actor on In Living Color. He's a conscientious style rapper, man, and he kind of opens your eyes. Like if you get the chance and you listen to this album and you say, "Hey, Tone, do me a favor, turn me on that BDP tune that you're familiar with." There's two that I would tell you off of that album. There's a song called "Love's Gonna Get You," and the general gist of it is, I'm in junior high with a B+ grade. At the end of the day, I don't hit the arcade. I walk from the school to my mom's apartment. I gotta tell her suckers every day don't start it. Cause where I'm at, if you're soft, you're lost. And the stay on course seems to roll with force. But that's the general flow. And then the chorus is love's gonna get you, gonna get you, love's gonna get you, gonna get you. And if you were familiar with this happened probably late 80s, maybe early 90s. And then he would later on have a great solo career. But anyways, he's one of the greatest hip hop artists of his time. I would listen to Love's Gonna Get You off of the BDP Entertainment album, and then Beef. Boy, he sits there, dude. You would very much consider after listening to that song whether or not you'd ever eat beef again.
Nice.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
intelligent with it, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's not fucking wrong. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
but he's one of my favorite hip hop artists, dude.
Sweet.
What are you giving me?
All right, so I am giving you a brand new album from a gentleman that recently passed away. He was a Dutch rock and roll pioneer named Tony Slug. The album and the band is called the Tony Slug Experience. This
SLUG or GG?
SLUG.
The Tony
He
Slug Experience.
Yep. He was in bands like BGK, Love Slug, The Nitwits, and Hydromatics.
All right, and that's the
The,
name of the band. What's the
yeah,
name of the album?
the Tony Slug Experience.
Tony Slug, the Tony Slug Experience.
Yep. There's over 30 people, including Jello and Jennifer Finch from L7. So
Jello.
Jello Biafra.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
I can't say I'm familiar. I'll definitely look forward to
No,
checking
this
that
is
out.
brand new, so this is pretty cool.
And you've heard it.
I have heard it.
Don't tell me bullshit.
No, I really, dude.
Whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I first heard the single. The first single was Road Goat with Jello Biafra, and I was like, holy fuck, I love this. And that was the only thing that was released off of it. And I couldn't find anything else on it. Well, then they released another single, and that was Wrecking Ball. And I was like, God damn, another great fucking song. And finally, I don't know, a week or two ago, they released the full thing, and I've just been jamming to it pretty frequently for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was listening to that.
Fucking good.
Today I was jamming that Earth. The bees made honey in the lion's skull. Think about naming this episode Hair of the Dog in the Magician's Birthday Cake.
There's a dog hair in the Magician's. I love it.
Dog hair in the Magician's Birthday Cake.
That's right. I like it.
I like it. All right, brother. With that being said, I'm Tone. Over there's Bruce. We are hooked on Sonics. Bruce, you got anything to say before we roll out?
I do. Here we go. No thought of sleep ever dwells upon the wise man's mind. Some task or audience stealing every moment of his time. Thus we have learned to live while mortal men stand waiting to die. How can we do what must be done in just one short life?
How can we?
I don't know. We're going to try, though.
Yes, we will. With that being said, once again, I'm Tone.
I'm
There's
Bruce.
We're hooked on Sonics. If you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe. Leave us a message. Let us know what you'd like us to review. We'd love to hear from you. We'll see you guys next time around.
See ya.
See ya.